Indeed. Professor Gunaratne, stay with us again. We move on to more news and more coverage. And North Korea has strongly condemned the US strikes on Venezuela, calling them the most serious form of encroachment on sovereignty. In a statement, Pyongyang's foreign ministry spokesman labelled the US actions as further proof of its rogue and brutal nature. North Korea also warned that the situation in Venezuela could have catastrophic consequences on regional and international relations. Ambassador Mukherjee, I wanted to come to you next. Of course, North Korea, another member of the UN, Venezuela has formally requested an urgent Security Council meeting after the US strikes and Maduro's capture, calling it a violation of international law and sovereignty. The UN Security Council is set to meet tomorrow, which was backed by Russia and China. They pushed for this meeting. Is this situation going to show the power of these multilateral institutions and possibly the weakness and serious flaws in them?
I think that this kidnapping of an elected head of state in this manner, decades after Noriega was kidnapped, demonstrates that multilateralism has failed, demonstrates that the United Nations stands for nothing, demonstrates that the old world order that was built after World War II has crumbled. A new global disorder has emerged, which is yet to show itself as an order. Under those circumstances, if a Security Council meeting is convened, and I have worked in the UN myself, I worked for India, the United States as a permanent member, has a veto. So what would happen is there would be a meeting, people would read out statements, and then the United States permanent representative would look at the resolution possibly moved by China or Russia. France has also condemned it, which is interesting. The other two countries have not condemned it. France has condemned it. They will veto it. That's it. There's nothing else you can do. Then they would take it to the General Assembly, where most countries, small countries, weak countries, countries that don't have the economic might, would abstain or be absent from the room. The resolution would not pass, either in the Security Council or in the General Assembly, is my assessment after having spent a long time working with the UN in Geneva and in New York. Under those circumstances, what does it demonstrate? It demonstrates that the present international law and order is implemented with an iron hand on weak states or large countries which don't yet have that economic clout. They would get it one day, then they would they would cross over the road into the club of the mighty. And then you have another international law which the mighty possess. So it actually means that the world is moving back to the 19th century, to the age of imperialism and conquest. India was a colony for 180 years under the heel of British colonialism. We as a country know what it means to gain freedom after colonialism. So we do believe that under any circumstance, rule of law is the best. This man Maduro clearly has committed grave crimes from the way my co-panelist has described and what I've read on social media. I completely agree with him that he would probably get a 25-year term, which is what they gave Noriega. He would probably spend 15 to 16 years of it in an American New York high security jail like Noriega did, and maybe he would be released at the end of his life to spend the remaining 1 year or 2 years that is left to him back in Venezuela, so he could be buried in his homeland. That is exactly what's going to happen to him. I'm not an astrologer. I'm a diplomat. I know the system, and that is exactly going to work. It's not going to work in any other way. But the point here is that this is not Panama. This is Venezuela. This is Latin America. And if there is unrest in Latin America, it will affect the stability not just of the United States, but of the global South. So it's in this day and age, it would be difficult for any Venezuelan politician to support this action and to run an interim regime so that President Trump can run it from outside with his cabal,
Yes.
his colleagues, etc. It would be difficult to do that because the Venezuelan people would not accept
Yes.
it. The only answer is to have free and fair elections. And what would be the result of that free and fair elections? We don't know. It could be somebody very reasonable. It could be somebody very close to the man who's been
Yes,
abducted.
Ambassador Mukherjee, do stay with us. Apologies for cutting you off there. We have